So that was a quick reminder of what we're all doing here. And be proud of yourselves because you guys are all here, which means you're taking a really great first step, a third step, 8th step, 23rd step, whatever it is. But it's still really hard. As we just talked about. So let's talk about some of the barriers and what makes it so hard. So this is a picture of me in 1998, and I was weightlifting, and I look about the same now if I do it, which is really unhappy because I don't like it. So what are some of your barriers to exercise? What makes it hard for you guys to get out and exercise? Time? The weather? That's
I'm just tired by the afternoon.
absolutely.
I go home first.
Yeah.
Expenses.
Very expensive, right?
Motivation.
Yeah, that's really hard. Those are great and kind of similar things to what I guessed. Time, we don't have enough time to exercise. We're too busy doing lots of other things. It costs a lot, a gym membership or even just a nice pair of tennis shoes. They're very expensive. It hurts. If your knees hurt, you don't want to run, or you're sore, it's just hard to get out there. Or if you're tired, oftentimes if you've worked all day, you've taken care of people, you're too tired to get out and go on a hike or a run. Or you just don't like it. I just don't like weightlifting.
So as important as it is to recognize what facilitates physical activity, we believe that it's equally as important to recognize what our common barriers are. Because until we understand why something is broken, we won't be able to fix it. So now that we've identified some of our common barriers, we are going to spend the rest of the time on this lecture explaining how to promote physical activity.
So we just talked about some of the reasons that we can't because we don't have time. But there are a lot of ways to add physical activity to your daily routine without exercising, without putting on the shoes and going out for a jog. So can you guys think of some of those examples of how you
farther
could...
away.
Great. Park further away and walk. Great.
Take the stairs.
Take the stairs. Did you look at my presentation? You know all the answers. Yes, she listed a lot of them. Walk a dog. If you don't have a dog, I have two. They're very crazy, and you're more than welcome to come walk them for me. Park further away from the grocery store, from work, and then you can get great exercise just by doing that. Take the stairs in lieu of the elevator. House cleaning, and vacuuming is more rigorous, or rearranging the cabinets where you have to bend down and stretch up. Washing and waxing your car. Again, my car is really dirty, so if anyone needs some exercise, you can come to my house. Gardening, vigorous gardening like mowing the lawn or weeding, anything that's going to help you break a sweat. When you watch TV, don't use the remote, so you have to walk to it every time you want to change the channel or adjust the volume. Or while you're watching TV, do stretches, jog in place, or don't watch TV. And when you're on the phone or brushing your teeth or something where you're standing still, you can just walk around, just to get a few more steps into your day.
Great. Katherine, thank you. Those are great ideas. So the rest of the lecture, we are going to focus on 10 very specific strategies to help you find success in your physical activity goals. And it's up to you if you want to jot these down or not. Katherine and I reviewed the evidence, we reviewed the literature, and we chose our 10 favorite tactics that we wanted to share with you. So the first tactic or strategy is the smaller the goal, the more likely it will be accomplished. So what does this really mean? If you're having difficulty sticking to walking or jogging, for example, 30 minutes every day or 5 days a week, or even 1 hour, 3 days a week, then try decreasing your goal for the first 1 to 2 weeks to only 5 or 10 minutes a day. That may not sound like a lot, but it will get you walking. And the most important part, it will allow you to create the habit. So then when you get to the 3rd or the 4th week, then you can gradually increase the time. We don't need to be perfect right away. We don't need to walk or jog our end goal the first couple weeks or even the first month. Creating the habit is really the most important part, so start small. Okay, number 2. The more specific the goal, the more likely it will be accomplished. So I'm going to ask you all a few questions, and if you can think of the answers in your head or write them down, that would be helpful. So the first question is, what is your specific goal? Think for a moment, what are your expectations? Do you want to run a 5K? Do you want to just walk a 5K? Do you want to simply get into shape? Do you want to lose weight, reduce your blood pressure, reduce your cholesterol? What are your specific goals? Next, I want you to think, how are you going to do it? Do you want to walk? Do you want to jog? Do you want to just improve your nutrition? Next, think really specifically, when in your schedule is the best time to do this? And be specific, not just 3 days a week, but specifically, I'm going to walk Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Next, think, when in my life is the most ideal time to do this? So for example, I'm going to walk Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6:30 a.m. those 3 days. As specific as you can get. And finally, really try to visualize, where are you going to do this? So for example, I'm going to walk at 6:30 a.m. on Monday on the Link River Trail. On Wednesday, I'm going to go to OIT, and on Friday, I'm going to walk downtown. We fully realize that the deck is stacked against you. There's not enough time, and the temptations are everywhere. And so in order to really find success with our goals, we must be intentional. We really have to be specific. That planning is essential. So the physical activity really does have to be engineered into our day. So I'm just going to provide 3 quick examples. One example, you could consider taking the bus to work. How long would it take you to walk to the bus stop and then walk back home? Would you actually save gas money? How much more time would you have to budget into your day? A second example is consider driving not all the way to work and instead parking 10 minutes away. That will provide a 10-minute walk to work, a 10-minute walk on the way home, and already you've walked 20 minutes in your day. If you add that up 5 days a week, you've walked 100 minutes already your walk, and you're almost to your goal. And we should mention that that 10-minute number is not random or arbitrary. It was researched and found to be the minimum amount of time that it takes to increase our heart rate to provide those benefits of physical activity. And a third example is consider joining a structured physical activity program. So yoga, rowing, CrossFit, group classes at Harbor Isles. Paying up front for each month really can provide the motivation to get us there because we don't want to waste our money. Also, that group accountability helps, and having a trainer in front of us telling us what to do also helps. It takes all the choice out of it. And I personally really appreciate this. I don't know how to lift weights well. I really don't know how best to break up my muscle groups, and I do find weight machines extremely boring. And so I greatly appreciate going to CrossFit because they do all of that for me. Since all of us have many opportunities to make small changes in our lives, it's really nice to share and just hear what other people's goals are. It also helps in creating our own. So does anybody feel comfortable sharing either what you thought or what you wrote down for your specific goal? Does anybody feel comfortable sharing? Okay, how about we'll go with you first and then go with you next? Okay.
Well, I try to go swimming at Ellerity Pool every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 o'clock.
Awesome. And are you able to stick to that?
Yeah, pretty much. But work gets in the way, but I try to make it up. So
Sure.
sometimes I don't quite make it.
Great. No, that's
I have
fantastic.
other obligations. But when I first started, by the way, I could only do 5 laps. And now I can do 40 laps an hour.
That's awesome.
That's great. Awesome. Good for you.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
We committed to 4 days a week at the Y. We spend 2 days and we Zumba or Ripped or whatever is happening. 4 days a week, we walk every day at lunch. And we have been very successful in keeping this going for about 3 weeks now.
And do you have a specific time you go to the Y? Those 4 days?
Yeah, 5:30 to 6:30, depending on which class we're doing. It starts at a
Okay.
little different
So you
time.
do a class.
We do a class.
Okay.
Spin and Zumba.
Awesome. Good for you. And that sounds incredibly specific.
Fair.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Does anybody else want to share?
Those were great examples. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
It's not very specific, but I got a new puppy, and she's terrorizing my yard. And so she's now going to be walking with me in the morning for 30 minutes every morning to give her something to do, so she's not tearing up my yard. So
Perfect.
I have to now, so I don't lose everything else that she hasn't gotten.
I can relate, yes. Great. So the third tip that we have is find the right exercise for you. So to figure that out, you have to ask yourself some questions, and some of these Stephanie kind of alluded to. We'll go ahead and repeat them. What do you like to do? Do you like to go running, play soccer, dance, do yoga? If you hate an exercise, you will not do it. So try to think of the sports or activities that you really enjoy. What are your limitations? If you have really bad arthritis in your knees, running may not be the best thing for you, but swimming would be a great alternative. Do you like to exercise alone or with others? My husband refuses to exercise with me. I'm not sure if that's because he likes to exercise alone or just he doesn't want to exercise with me. We'll see. But that may help you choose whether you want to do a team sport or whether you want to do a solo sport like running, or you could run with people. When will you exercise? Is this before work, on your lunch break, after class? You know, just think of the time when you can fit it in your schedule.